We're testing and evaluating a new 308 semi-auto build. It's based upon a DRACOS 18-inch straightjacket barrel through Falcor defense. The goal of our testing and evaluation for this 308 is to shoot a variety of affordable, economical, brass-cased hunting factory ammunition. So you may be asking, why this set of ammunition? Well, frankly, it's what's available at the shelves of Academy or Bass Pro or Cabela's. I grabbed all these locally, with the exception of the Sellier and Bellot 308. It's averaging less than $15 a box of shells, with the exception of one, which is my own personal stock of ammunition I had already for another 308. That's an all copper projectile. So, if the premium barrel is able to shoot these readily available and economical hunting brands of ammunition, we're here to see if you can extract good accuracy, not match grade accuracy, but good accuracy for hunting out of a premium barrel. And then, so with the money you're spending on a barrel, you can go economic with the factory ammo offerings for some time until you recoup that and decide to go with match ammo or something more extravagant. But every barrel, in my opinion, should be able to shoot a soft point hunting bullet to under an inch. And it's been my experience that that's not always the case. So I'm hopeful that the features of the DRACOS barrel is going to be able to overcome the standard and traditional experience I've had with economical hunting ammunition, and that it'll be able to group all of these ammunitions relatively well. So the objective for today will be to grab some chronograph data off each, see how it compares to the factory stated velocities. Then we'll shoot at 100 yards, and we'll do 2 5-shot groups. The first 5-shot group I will hand feed 5 rounds into the chamber so that it doesn't have any of the forces of going into battery put onto the ammunition. So that should be the tightest of the 5-shot groups. And then for the next 5-shot group, which I'll shoot directly over the previous 5-shot group, we'll go ahead and let the gun do its work and load those for us. Also, part of the objective today is to do a cold bore shot of each type of ammo and compare it to the cold bore shot of the other ammunition and see if the cold bore is relatively within the same area, both comparative to its own 5-shot group and the other ammunition. In order to get the barrel down back to ambient temperature, I'll take it into the Suburban and I'll run air condition from the Suburban through the barrel to get that down, because I don't have a whole lot of hours to wait for stuff to cool down. So that's how I'll get it down to the next cold bore shot temperature. First up will be PPU match line ammunition, 308 Winchester, 168 grain hollow point boat tail. There is no stated velocity on the box, so I will capture that on the chronograph. We'll go with a cold bore shot here, 1, follow up with 5 hand-fed rounds on the target to the left. Our cold bore was 3 o'clock on the edge of the bullseye, And it looks like that on average is a 1/2 inch low of the cluster of 4. I don't feel as though I pulled anything, so this is an honest group, 5-shot group. 4 of those are under 3/4 of a minute, with the total of 5 being an minute of angle. Herders hunting ammo, Bass Pro, 150 grain soft point, box velocity 2820, soft point. Monarch 150 grain soft point Academy, $15 a box. I got the 2 previous cold bores that were within a 1/4 inch of each other from the other 2 ammo, so I'll cold bore here and then I'll come over and shoot there. Recap real quick, since I'm having so many camera difficulties. 2 of the cold bores, the PPU and the herders, right there, with the Monarch pretty much a good inch to the right, but the same elevation. So windage is differing, elevation staying the same. Overall, the cold bores are in line with the bottom of each respective 5-inch group, a 5-shot group. So there isn't a large degree, no more than 1.5 inches per se, because none of these bullets are off any of their targets. So no more than 2 inches of variance between the cold bore shots. We've got one more ammunition type to try. Sellier and Bellot 308, 150 grain soft point cutting edge technology. I'll try to get some close-ups of this bullet. It's a unique design in that it has a ridge, very visible, midway up the bullet shank. So not sure if the bullet engages the rifling ahead or behind of that. But essentially this bullet is meant to perform with rapid expansion in the front part, and then the base is supposed to be a penetrating style, almost like a partition base, if you will. So I've never shot this before in any rifle. I recently discovered it just looking for ammunition that was under $15, which this qualifies. So we'll see how it does in relation to more standard designs and what it groups like. Alright, for the final test of the day, I'm going to go back to the bench. I've already preloaded a 20-round magazine with 4 sets of 5 shots of each of these ammunition types. Monarch being 150 grain soft point far left, PPU match 168 grain hollow point boat tail second from left, cold bores in the middle. I'm not going to shoot that target if I can help it. To the right of that is a Herder's 150 grain soft point, and the far right, Sellier Bellot 150 grain soft point cutting edge technology. The 4 5-shot groups you see on target now were hand-fed loads into the chamber, so as to rule out the jostling of the round as it is extracted from the magazine and chambered into battery. These next 4 sets of 5 shots will be from a magazine. So also, it wouldn't be a testing and evaluation of a DRACOS if we didn't get that barrel super hot. So before the targets start getting hit down here at the 100, I'm going to put 5 or 6 rounds down at the 40-yard target to get that barrel up to operating temperature, and then I will shoot in one continuous string these 20 shots. By the time we get to the Herders, which is the first one on the right of the cold bore, I'm assuming Mirage is going to be out of control, so my pace will probably slow down significantly until I can get the Mirage under control to make shots as accurately as possible. I'm not going for speed, I'm going for accuracy. Hopefully my battery holds out on this camera for the entire duration. A lot of wishing and a lot of hoping, so let's see how it goes. Well, we almost made it through that full shooting without the battery going stupid on me. So, takeaways from today. Alright, so Monarch 150 grain soft point. The very first shot of the second 5 set is that very high one off the target. Again, we're feeding from a magazine, so all in all, very impressed with the Monarch 150 grain, under $15 a box. That's a 10-shot group that I'm going to say is 1.5 inches. Moving over to the PPU 168 grain hollow point boat tail. 90% of that's within 2 inches. Pretty consistent. You can see the 2 groups side by side. If you overlaid those, the 20-shot group would be in the upper quadrant, 2 by 2 inch. Cold bores also bared out the same between these two. My Monarch was the furthest right cold bore, but 75% of those cold bores are stacked on top of each other, so maybe I was the 25% factor there. Things kind of get a little scary here towards the end. Could be high heat, could be stripping from magazine, could be a number of things. The Herders probably is just the Herders. 5, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I see 9 shots. Oh, there's the 10th shot of this group over here. And it's a 3 inch spread. As hunting ammo goes, decent. Deer, hog. Smaller game? Probably not. So I won't be buying much more of the Herders for the DRACOS. And this one's sort of unexplainable. The 5 shots from the first group are untouched. The other 5-shot group is probably the best grouping of the day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it drifted 2 inches from the other set of 5, so this just could be stripping from the magazine and the barrel being the hottest out of all the groups at the end of a 25 shot string in just over 5 minutes. So either way, I can work with consistent groups like that. It gives me something to work on with this Sellier and Bellot. I still have 30 rounds of it. I like to go hog hunting with it, and so I may use a night vision scope for that endeavor, and if I do, then I'll just kind of watch the groups. But very promising for the Sellier Bellot, the PPU, and the Monarch. Not a bad day at the range. DRACOS 308 18-inch. I'm using a PRI gas buster charging handle. I got a loopholed scope on there that I like to load develop with. It has a very fine target dot reticle. Color's midnight bronze. The trigger is a Teflon coated, I believe from Palmetto State. I did try a LaRue flat MBT2 trigger. Unfortunately, it was too wide behind the trigger and did not work in this lower receiver. So I'm going with not a standard trigger, but a single stage, and probably about a 4-pound pull with that Teflon. This is a 1 in 11 twist 18-inch DRACOS barrel, and I'm running my OSS Helix suppressor. Kind of a unique build aspect here is I was able to source a SI Defense lower and upper and had it Cerakoted to match the handguard. But for those who haven't been following SI Defense, has roots going back to the aerospace industry and has an interesting relationship to Falcor Defense and DRACOS. So it's a little bit of the old and a little bit of the new with regard to SI Defense and DRACOS.